The following program is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. You can request podcast topics, enjoy exclusive RPG and video content, and more. Even just $1 a month gets you gameplay episodes a week early and makes you officially cool. Just like our trash elite, Rob and a guy from Ohio, DG, Kitty Holbrook, Passion Killer 711, Destru City, KTL, and Drake Storm. Greetings and salutations. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by The Boy.
Hello.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today we are stealing mail, at my great chagrin, from the All Elite Arcade Podcast featuring Evil Uno and the Chugs, aka Adam Cole, aka Austin something or other.
Yes, this is the podcast that happens when we, as mail thieving criminals, are bereft and must resort to thievery to get by.
I do want to do a little update in lieu of what's crumping, or in addition to, if you'd like. I can crump quickly. I don't know if you've been up to much. Mostly just sitting in the corner of your cage, rolling that old watermelon around.
It's good.
It's good. Well, so yes. Why didn't we do last week? And I think we covered this in brief, but why didn't we do an AEW wrestling podcast? When will they be coming back? We've been doing AEW pay-per-views this whole time. What happened?
We didn't watch it.
We didn't watch it. Some of the things that upset us about that show turned out to not be true. Other things are wounds that will heal with time. I don't have a hard return for us.
We will almost certainly come back to AEW. It's too good to go away for long.
No, and I don't even think this is going to be like our past WWE breaks where it's years. I'm speculating months. If we're not back before Wembley, we'll be back.
Wembley will be the last straw. I will see what happens at Wembley.
I don't want to see what happens at Wembley, but he will drag me along for the ride. In the same tone, we were going to do a gauntlet podcast. We were going to do one of our competitive ones where afterward one of us has to watch a bad movie. And we're running out of ideas. They're very creative, those podcasts, and they can be difficult to come up with. So I don't want to broom the idea entirely because it's very funny to make me watch Ted. And man, I would love to force this guy to watch a couple of films that he would, through chagrin, enjoy. But if you guys have any ideas of like competitive stuff where there can be a winner that we could do, drop us a line in the comments or on the Discord. I think that's all I had to say about bookkeeping. Is there anything crump worthy to talk about?
The only thing is, and we might end up doing a full podcast at this point. We have replaced AEW's weekly slot in our week with a different wrestling fed. Shout out to the person we're stealing from. Evil Uno's Mystery Wrestling is incredibly fun.
It is fun, goofy indie wrestling. It reminds me of Chikara, hopefully without all the behind-the-scenes sex nonsense.
Or if it is, fully consensual.
Consensual sex nonsense is not nonsense. That's just people being people. That's just the Olympics, baby.
There you go.
I've been watching Barney Miller and redoing my Animal Crossing island. Freed from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I have turned to 1970s cop comedy shows.
Just like as far from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure you could get.
The last one was about the mafia. I'm going to the police. That's how I feel, I guess. This was not conscious. My mom has been trying to get me to watch the show for a while, and I bit a couple times, and then it finally hooked me.
Let's steal some questions.
Yeah, let's steal some questions. Real podcast starts at, here's your timestamp, kids. Preston writes in, and we're so grateful, Preston, for your question. How do you think the industry would have changed if Nintendo was erased from history? And what kind of impact would it have on the gaming landscape of today?
I'm gonna guess that they mean like the Nintendo company, like fully gone forever. No even precursors.
Doctor Who gets into his TARDIS and goes back to when they were making card games and sex hotels. Is that real? I think that might be a rumor. And then he zorps them with his magic screwdriver and goes, "Not for you today, nunny boy," or whatever his catchphrase is. And then that's it. That's all we know now, is that they were never there.
Okay. So from being honest, I feel like video games take a lot longer to come back from the crash.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's the biggest ramification. Nintendo not single-handedly, but certainly sped up the salvation of video games.
And thereby they don't catch the particular wave of pop culture that was so embracing of new technology and excited for the future that they did. I don't know that they become as popular in general. I think it is almost strictly worse for video games as a whole.
I think that we might not be, and I hate this word, but gamers. I think even if we do enjoy that kind of thing, I think you and I specifically look a lot closer to nerds of the 1970s, way more into novels and films.
It's just because it takes...
It's just going to take so long.
And like, video games wouldn't be as far along today. You could make the argument for that not necessarily being a negative, because some of the growing pains of the video game industry would be ameliorated by them starting with a higher tech base. But I just think it's pretty much strictly worse, and not because Nintendo is so irreplaceable, but if Nintendo is gone and no other company replaces them, it's just going to take longer. And
Nintendo was in the right place at the right time, and nobody else was.
Yeah, and it's not like other people didn't try. Nobody else succeeded. The industry crashed.
It was still, the arcades were still going, but the home console industry was basically non-existent.
I think video games are not nearly as much a part of pop culture.
At this point, sure. Maybe at this point they would be, but it would be like it was 15 years ago, as opposed to how it is now, where they're burgeoning into the pop culture as opposed to being, ever present.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Very thoughtful one. Do you have anything else you'd like to say about that?
I could go into a lot of detail, but it would all be really, really speculative and not be able to hold up. I'm pretty confident in that assertion.
You think you could just spin up an entire tale about what might happen in an alternate reality where Nintendo doesn't exist?
He's mad. He's upset.
I'm not mad. I'm deeply envious. And you guys, I don't know, maybe come into our Discord and let us know. Ask us in the comments. Maybe I'll elaborate on the trailer for a Green Lantern movie that's never going to exist that I got to watch. Ryder, I'm guessing it's Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World.
Okay.
Writes in, what are some misconceptions about games that you think are still prevalent today? You don't got to put quarters in them anymore. A lot of people I see trying to cram a quarter into the phone, the lightning jack on their phone, and it just doesn't go in there, buddy.
Memes aside, video games are so baked into pop culture at this point. Aside from, not to be blunt, but aside from boomers, I'm not sure who hasn't experienced enough with video games to have preconceptions anymore that are that out of touch.
Yeah, I think that even if you've got a bully or a naysayer or whatever you want to, whatever label you want to put on these kind of people, someone who's being derogatory toward you or someone who is part of the gaming sphere, using that as the vector, they are they're not coming from a place of ignorance necessarily.
No, it's malice.
Yeah, it's just malice.
If you see a person who's younger than 55 and they are saying things about video games that seem incredibly weird and out of touch, that person's having you on. They know what they're saying is wrong. They're doing it to bully you.
I think it may be in the deeper culture, however, because you do still get a lot of people who don't realize that it is possible to play video games to make money as a job.
You know what? That's fair. That's actually really fair. Video games themselves, maybe not so much, but
the culture,
the gaming culture, the gaming industry.
It's really easy, in spite of the way we live our lives, to not know what Twitch is.
I've got a really good one.
I'm listening.
People, and this is actually a misconception about video games that is very prevalent with video game players. Games aren't fucking easy to make.
Oh my god, yes.
They're really hard and confusing, and it takes a lot of very difficult and upsetting math.
So recently, sorry to bring some bad news into things, Epic laid off a bunch of employees. And there were some people who spoke out on Reddit about their experiences. And one of the things was Most of the people were saying, well, if you guys would stop spending so much money on Fortnite collaborations with licensed properties, maybe you would, not have to fire all these people.
Those make money.
They do.
That's why they do them.
The problem is that the amount it costs to keep the servers running for their player base, it dwarfs the licensing fees. It is so much in excess.
Yeah, like, they do the licensing, they do the collaborations so that they have server money, dog.
It's not about, and that's just like a microcosm, a small example of you do not get how this works. You do not get how complicated this is.
I think all the preconceptions aren't like, video games. That's like Mario. It's not those people. It's, well, I mean, if the game developers should just fix this problem. You just press the button that fixes the problem. I can't believe I'm so smart. I can't believe they haven't thought of it already. Trust me, dog, they have. They have thought of it already, and your sheer arrogance at thinking that you thought of it first is infuriating.
Basically, what happens is they press the button that fixes the problem, and another button pops up for another problem, and they go, well, that's not good. And so they press that button, and another button pops up with another problem, and they do that until either it's fixed or someone stops paying them to do that. That's video game design in a nutshell. Yeah, and it doesn't happen fast either.
I'm glad I was able to think of an answer.
That's a really good answer. Very good. You're doing really good this podcast.
I did it good. Yeah.
You're gonna get a cookie later.
Oh.
Lucas writes in. This could be George Lucas. I'll attempt the voice.
Yay.
We've all had cringy gamer tags in our early years of gaming. What were some of your throwback gamer tags growing up? How did you come up with them? Trying to steal names for your Star Wars characters? I'm on to you, George Lucas.
Cringe is dead. I am free. On many platforms, including the Discord, I still use the gamer tag I used when I was 13 years old. Come for me. I don't care.
I'm sorry. Was that meant to be like sexual?
No.
Okay. Some people are really aggressive about that kind of thing.
No.
I'm stalling for time. I came from a time before they were called gamer tags. They were called screen names.
As were mine, but
sure. But none of mine were really cringe. They were just sort of me at the time. The fact that I landed on White Raven, which I mean, okay, actually the cringe one, the one I don't like, Minister Whitey.
Which is, I believe, currently the name of the YouTube channel.
No, I fixed it. So many of the things I had, I used Minister Whitey instead of White Raven, because I thought it was neat that I had become a minister through the non-denominational universal ministries. You could be anything religiously, spiritually, and still have the title and powers of a minister as far as legal things go. I didn't realize until a couple of years ago that people probably thought that I talk about religion on account of that's part of my name. You don't think about that of like Lord Potato or something because, what are the odds that you have to do battle with an Austrian lord on Discord? But with Minister, that's a little more accessible and direct. We just go by White Raven now. Anywhere I can. Unfortunately, I got snaffled up. But yeah, that's my cringe version. Some of the older screen names I had, Frog Boy, TGA Spork. I was that kind of teenager. Yeah, it's
I've
fine.
had the one.
They're fine.
Genuinely, I've had the one. And it's still my name on Discord. You want to see it? Come to join the Discord. I'm right there.
Dancing Madman. I liked that one. I thought that was clever. It's a Final Fantasy reference. JC, do you think it's Chavez or Mateo?
You know what? It could be a collaboration.
All right. Jay's C's. What do you guys consider the best second date game? So, to put this in other terms, you've met somebody, you hit it off with this person, you're like, hey, this person's pretty cool. You guys agree to meet up again. It might be romantic. You might demand they come for you. It might not be. But you've met up for a second time. What's a good game to play together for this second meeting?
2 questions.
All right, I'm here.
Are you competitive? And are they?
That is a good, important set of questions. And I think that's a set of questions that thou thyself out there need to answer before you're deciding on that game. So let's say, why don't we give variations?
Okay.
So neither competitive.
Fighting game.
That's pretty clean. I suppose there's another question of, are you guys like proper gamers? I guess if you're playing a game on a second date, you probably are.
If you're not a proper gamer, if you, in your little heart of hearts, kill the part of you that feels cringe, it is a demon. It is an enemy. If you let that part of yourself go, and could you genuinely describe yourself as a gamer? If that's true, you're playing a video game on a second date. If it's not true, don't. You'll just upset yourself and the person you're trying to impress.
I think both parties need to be gamers for the second date.
Yes, yes. Game. If they also aren't a gamer, don't.
Yeah.
That's so much worse.
I would try to stay away in that scenario where you're not competitive. Honestly, I think most things are on the table then, because I was going to say don't play like what's that cooking one where everybody hates each other?
There's so many.
Yeah, pick one. I would say don't play anything competitive, but if you're not competitive, then that's the safest way to play something competitive.
Yeah, fighting game is good if neither of you are competitive. If you and the person you want to hang out with are competitive, you may want to avoid a fighting game unless you're the kind of person who is like competitive in a very, unless you're both the kind of people who are competitive in a very additive way, where you enjoy the challenge of a competition. That's not always what people mean when they say competitive.
Oh yeah, like it's sort of it turns the dial up on the fun you're having.
Basically, if you guys are Saiyans and like you just really love a good fight, then a spar might be a great way to deepen the bond of friendship or romantic entanglement. But if you are if you're the kind of competitive where you're going to get sore even a little bit at losing, or they are, also if they are, maybe they're not great to hang out with. But in either case, avoid that. Play something that is very collaborative. Play like, I mean, honestly, as much as I love video games, I don't know that's a great second hangout of any type sort of engagement.
I feel like, that's my first date with my current partner. We did not play video games, and I believe we did some version of that on either the second or third. We did Mario Kart because I'm not competitive, and neither is she really. So that was safe. But I actually, as a recent game, it's not too expensive, that answers across all the board, Pizza Possum. Pizza Possum is a collaborative game where you guys solve pretty simple puzzles and try to avoid bad guys. You can help each other out, and you're just trying to eat a big old pizza.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's cheap. It's fun. It's harmless. I think that's probably something. Once you guys are in a relationship, lock yourself into some Stardew together. Build a farm. Build a life.
That's right. I'll do it.
Frank Du asks, I was hoping you could recommend some horror movies. That's not a question, Frank. That's a description of your mood.
Well, could we recommend some horror movies? Could we help Frank?
Nothing modern. I haven't watched a new horror movie in a long time.
Did you watch the Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2?
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is really good.
Yeah.
I like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's goofy.
It's goofy and slow. I don't know that I'd recommend it.
No.
The remake of the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds.
That's fun. Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's a really good one. And of course, The Conjuring.
Depends on... Yeah, Conjuring is just solid. If you were looking for something more tongue-in-cheek, basically any Stephen King thing.
He's just... His writing is actually very scary, but almost all the adaptations of his work don't get what makes him scary.
I really like The Forsaken. It's about vampires. And Joyride. Joyride's another perennial favorite of mine.
That's an ancient one.
Yeah. Ted Levine and some other people.
The Puppet Master movies are really goofy. They're fun.
Think about those. Maybe do a little research into them first. Depending on your sensibilities. I've only ever seen
like the first two, and I saw them when I was a small child. Are they weird?
No, it just in a modern context, they might make someone uncomfortable.
Oh, I don't remember enough about them to know why, I guess.
Or they might make someone incredibly comfortable, and please stop listening to our podcast.
You know what? I'll find out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a bit. It's fine. They're fine movies. They're just a little weird. But I really like bad horror is also, it's got its own verve to it. Just go on Tubi and see what they have for horror movies. I'm sure that'll be a trip.
May I make an anti-recommendation?
Absolutely.
This isn't because it's bad. It's actually quite a good movie. I wouldn't recommend you watch Scream unless you've seen several slasher movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, build yourself up to Scream.
Yeah, go Google. You've got the Google machine. Go Google some of the classic, well-loved slashers. Watch them, and then watch Scream, because it's so much funnier. It's such a better satire if you have the base knowledge from which it springs.
About a year ago, 2 years ago, year and a half, I would have recommended the original Halloween. But having watched it again, Michael Myers makes springy jump noises when he pops up out of places, and that really fucks with the vibe.
Halloween is a great great anthropological watch.
Honestly, really, the only problem with it is the sproing noise and some of the soundtrack. The acting is really good, the plot is really good,
but the sproing noise really takes you.
It really deflates the whole organization.
They didn't know what scary noises were.
No, we didn't yet. The Thing.
I'm having my own journey
From Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Scares the hell out of me.
You got exactly where my brain went.
All right. Next question is from Jeffrey. I'm gonna guess Dean Morgan. What was the first time you've ever been scared in a video game? And then he drank some whiskey, and then drove away on a motorcycle.
I don't know.
And then celebrated Christmas.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I do. We're reaching back into childhood, and I'm old. I believe the name of this game was Hunt the Wumpus.
Okay.
It is a, I think, literally 2-bit PC game where you're going around a maze, and there is a monster called the Wumpus.
Oh, no.
And that Wumpus makes a scary noise, and if he gets you, it's game over.
Oh, no.
I was a child playing this at a family hardware store. Middle of the day, that Wumpus scared the hell out of me. So that's why.
That's a really good answer. I didn't play a lot of horror games growing up. So the first time I was scared in a video game was probably some sort of multiplayer game, and it was, because oh no, I'm gonna lose. And that's not really scared.
If I remember, I will try to endeavor to put the Wumpus on the thumbnail. So if there's a weird pixel thing on the thumbnail, that's the Wumpus. Yeah, you're not really a horror game guy anyway.
No, I don't really play them.
I think
I have some. I like the Silent Hill.
I think the first Silent Hill was probably the actual answer for me. That's not I'm a child and taffy can be scary kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Devin writes in to a different show and asks, what do you guys consider qualities of an epic and memorable video game villain? Do you think retro games had stronger villains or the current gen? Those are 2 questions.
I think what goes into those is different for retro games than the current gen.
Do you?
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
Retro games, less so. I think you would be better to elaborate on what makes a good villain for retro games. You have more experience and a stronger opinion. In a more modern context, you need a few things. You need good writing, good voice acting, and hateability.
So I suppose it means how retro you're talking and how good you're talking. I would never put Bowser at anywhere near the top of a villains list. Because while he is
they play
iconic,
go-karts and tennis with him.
even if you strip that away and just use the mainline games, while he is iconic, he's not that threatening.
He's not epic.
No, he's not worthy of a story. Even in the Mario movie, where he's the villain of the written movie, he's just a goober.
He's a goober and he does a Fun Peach song.
So, like, we were willing to deal with less nuanced villains back then. Dr. Wily does not go at the top of the villains list. He's a menace. He's a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
He's a fun one, too.
Sure, I love him, but, like, he's not... He doesn't stir things in. I'm not over here writing Dr. Wily fan fiction that you know of. Whereas I think that Super Nintendo era, the Sega Genesis even, where we started going into deeper RPGs that had villains who were capable of having nuance, I agree entirely with your point that good writing is necessary. I think the trick to any villain in any fiction is making them relatable in some way. That, you know, makes them kind of tragic, or it gives them an actual anchor in that if things were different, you and I could have been allies.
I have a counterexample.
Okay.
Micah from Red Dead Redemption 2. Not relatable. Huge prick.
I suppose it depends. You know what? Here's the thing, though. While he would go at the top of the villains list, up in the top 10 at least, I don't ever want to celebrate him.
No,
I'm
fuck
not,
that guy.
Yeah, I think if you're looking...
I want to celebrate that actor, but not that character.
If you're looking for a villain to be like, oh, what a great villain, that you remember fondly, you don't want Micah. So that's too far.
For the fond remembrance, there needs to be some kernel of relatability.
Yeah. I also don't think Micah's an epic villain. He's a sack of shit. That's part of why he's so great, is because he sucks. He's not worth it. The game is the villain in not letting you shoot him when he's obviously evil.
You know, having said that, I can't recall the last really epic video game villain I even saw.
I think they did some good things with the guy in Baldur's Gate 3 that was voiced by J.K. Simmons.
Oh, yes. The immortal one.
Yeah, he was the second act boss. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I remember the third act guy, Gortash. I remember his name, but I don't remember the name of J.K. Simmons in a suit of plate mail.
Yeah, it's really close to my own.
But you're absolutely right. He's a great job.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's really compelling. I wish they'd done a little bit more with him. I think the way, I've only played the first game, but I think the way they portray Sephiroth in the Final Fantasy VII remakes is really solid.
Ketherick Thorn.
Ketherick, that's right. I thought there was a K in it as well. And I won't go into detail because it's a recent enough game that I don't want to, but either of the people you might consider the villain, any of the three of them, you might consider the villains of Persona 5 were pretty fucking solid. Both in being just twisted people like Micah who are getting away with things and you want to punish them for that reason, in being a tragic figure who, under different circumstances, might have been your friend, and, well, that again, but different. Yeah, just compelling stuff. Make them compelling. And if you can put them in a cool outfit, that helps too.
A good look never goes... Look, you're never going to go wrong with a good look.
Yeah. Thank you for writing in, whoever you were. I've already deleted the message. Barkus comes to us and asks, what is the weirdest game, or what are, the weirdest games you've ever played?
I don't know. Toomba, I guess.
Okay.
Just a weird little game about a cave boy eating pink fruits.
And fighting pig monsters.
And fighting strange little pig monsters.
It had like RPG town mechanics, but was a side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd game. I would agree with that. I think, you talking about that, I reminded of Bomberman 64, which did something similar while being Bomberman. I didn't play it for long, I didn't care for it, but that was odd. However, my submissions are going to be, I believe it was called Bad Dudes for the NES. It was a sort of crappy puzzle game about giant smiley faces with different emotions. You could make your own levels. And Calico, which is a more recent release. I was not prepared for what Calico was. Calico seems like, on the surface level, that it's a little slightly witchy life sim where you like cook and run a little shop and whatnot. But there's also giant cats half sticking out of the ground, and it's all sort of fever dreamy in pastels. That was a strange game.
If we're counting games that are more like, I don't know, fidget toys than video games, I played a game that I got in an itch bundle that I bought for charity some number of years ago, where you were just crossbreeding different plants on an alien planet to get like good genetic combinations.
Totally accurate battle simulator. That's a submission from me. In the fidget toy vein.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's
What an odd.
Yes.
I am discounting any number of visual novels that I began playing and swiftly stopped playing.
Oh, you know what? Also, the fridge one. We played that on the channel.
Yeah, that was delightfully strange. I wish it had become finished. I guess it kind of did.
Hearts?
Yeah, in that date everything is a thing now. But thank you for your question, guy who's gone now. Frederick.
He's going to keep deleting those messages and then trying to go back and thank people.
They don't even listen to the podcast. We stole this mail from someone else.
It's funnier if we thank them. You know that it's
I know,
funnier.
that's why I keep doing it. Fucking knock it off. You're blowing up my spot.
No.
Frederick, what is your favorite mask in video games? I'm not asking you, Frederick. That is what Frederick asked Evil Uno and the Chugs that we are now answering, like sliding into frame and going, well, I know I wasn't involved in this, but here I am with my response. Favorite mask in video games? That is an interesting question. I hate Majora's Mask, the game. It's a cool looking mask, but because I hate the game, it's not that. There's a video game about the comics, cartoons, and movie character The Mask, but that is also nowhere near my favorite. I did enjoy that movie. I think the character's interesting, not my favorite mask. I've suddenly forgotten every masked character who isn't a luchador that's ever existed, even though I love masked characters.
Okay. Are we differentiating between masks and helmets?
I think so, but it's our show, and you can list both if you'd like.
Well, I think if it's helmets, you gotta bear it for like Master Chief, Doom Guy.
Sure. I think if you're gonna say mask and it be a helmet, it has to cover the face.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
The Dragon Priest masks from Skyrim were really cool.
Yeah, those are solid.
They looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Tooth had a mask at one point, I think. That was a cool mask.
Yeah, he's most famously with his mask. That's a really solid one. I hate to be myself, and you all can psychoanalyze that in the comments, but I will have to answer NES Jason.
Bunch of the Tekken characters, King.
Yeah, a lot of
Yoshimitsu's
masks are pretty cool across Tekken and Soul Calibur.
The Mortal Kombat ninjas.
Very iconic. I don't think that's my favorite at all.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really struggling. As much as I like masks, I haven't played a lot of masked characters in games in the last few years. And the characters I like in games that have masks aren't from video games. I could say the Ninja Turtles, but those aren't even my favorite masks. They're just weird headbands that they wear over their eyes.
The New California Republic Ranger helmet.
Sure, that's a pretty cool helmet.
Really iconic.
Yeah, I don't know. I spend so much time in a character creator that I don't usually slap a mask on anymore. Depends on how cool the mask is. There's probably a bunch of them in Dark Souls and stuff that are really solid that I'm just can't think of them. I'm even looking around my desk to see if I've got some sort of nerd tat that might have a masked character on it, and I don't see anything that isn't a Ninja Turtles. So,
or like another superhero. Like, I don't think Spider-Man gets to count.
Sure,
That's not from video game.
No, he's in a video game.
Not the same thing. Darth Revan's mask was really cool.
Sure, that's from a video game. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I got. I'm gonna regret this. I probably was really looking forward to that question when I wrote it down, going, "Ooh, I love masks. I can't wait to answer this." And I'm just, whatever that is. That onomatopoeia, write it in the comments, please. Danny writes in to All Elite Arcade and asks, what are some games you would like to see get the roguelike/light treatment, either by the official developer or a fan-made project? So specifically speaking, what is a game property you would love to see a roguelike version of?
Oh, almost none. Don't like that genre a whole lot.
I even bought the Ninja Turtles roguelike and I beat it, but then I was done. And I was just like, well, okay, finish that. I'm looking forward to playing Hades 2 once it arrives, on Game Pass soon or on Xbox at all. But like Hades does very specific things with the roguelike formula that makes it compelling to keep playing that a lot of roguelikes don't do.
Yeah, it's just like
if I wanted to play a platformer, I could just keep playing Mega Man over and over again. I don't need, as much as I love a progression system, your progression system is not good enough to compel me to keep playing.
Like, even as someone who's played like a lot of Vampire Survivors,
or Diablo for that matter.
Yeah, and Diablo's less so. Like the loot is randomized, but you at least get to pick your build.
Yeah, I was still on my point. I apologize. As someone who's played a lot of Vampire Survivors, what were you about to say?
As someone who's played a lot of Vampire Survivors, I'm not a huge fan of that genre.
I see.
And when you add that genre to other games that aren't for it, it usually decreases. Like, I'm pretty sure the reason I ended up like tailing off of playing Elden Ring Night Rain. I just couldn't get. It's really frustrating to just have to commit to like 40 minutes to an hour of I might just get fucked on rolls and not be able to play the game.
It's the same reason that a lot of like hero shooters and stuff I bounce off of, because it takes so long to get into a game that if you lose, not hero shooters, collecty shooty map gets smaller, battle royale. It takes so long to get into a game, and then you lose, and then you're like, I gotta do that process all over again. Fuck that shit.
Fuck it, I'm out.
If you get in and immediately get sniped down, well, cool, loading screen, my favorite genre. Pass. But there are some that I latched onto for longer that weren't like that. And
I would much rather see new games in the in that genre that were designed from the ground up to be that genre.
I, barring certain things, don't care who is in the game. I want it to be extremely good. I'm not just a roguelike guy. I need it to be extremely good for me to be playing it at all.
Same. Like, I'm only going to be really interested in the top tier.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. Bingo Clamshell. What game series franchise would you pay more than a normal video game price to come back if you could? What's been gone?
I have too many peanut butter cups. I'm sorry. What would you think?
The old style of Final Fantasy, that would be pretty tight. We're getting another Mega Man, so the sun rises yet again. It's not confirmed yet, but the Soulsborne games before Elden Ring, I'd pay a little extra to get one of them's.
He hates an open world. That's why
it's like if so much of it after the first playthrough, because part of what I liked about the Souls games is you could play them again. So much of Elden Ring after the first playthrough
is horse.
It's like if you were playing NES Castlevania or Symphony of the Night even, and when you went from one room to the next,
the travel section of Red Dead Redemption 2 in between each level.
Yeah, just hold forward. Keep going, buddy. You get to a new location and you're like, I don't remember where I'm going. This is so hard. You gotta look at the guide. It's too much for me. But like from back in the day, or even something, a lot of fighting games. Look at Violent Profiles. Watch the entirety of Violent Profiles, and I will tell you at the end of each episode whether or not I think they should come back.
Yeah, it's one of the bits.
Thanks for your question, person. Garcia writes, what is your video game hear me out idea? Now, I don't think they mean this in the sexy way. My video game hear me out idea is a romanceable NPC, so how much of a hear me out is it? And then that's Beef Jerky Boy from Fallout 4. But
Hancock.
Yeah, Hancock. Jeremy, I wanted to call him. I don't know why. It's not his name. You know that meme? Not my name. It's not his name. But more just an idea that sounds a little wacky and a little out there, but you think would actually sing.
I think more, not necessarily even single player, but more slowed down, story-driven content for hero shooters.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very high dopamine, like, give me my next fix style of game, and that's the player base it attracts. But you got so many Blorbos, and they have so many expensive hats you can buy for them. And there's a whole class of gamer who just doesn't want the frenetic energy, but would love to hang out with your Blorbos and buy them fancy hats.
I would love to listen to all the dialogue in Marvel Rivals, but I don't because I have it on mute, or well, really low volume. I still need to be able to hear the alerts. I don't want to hear all the distracting noise while I'm playing my game, or I'm doing it while I'm listening to a podcast. But you know, if I got to actually have them, you know, do that in a controlled environment, that'd be cool. Similar, I was actually thinking about this last week. I wish there was a single player mode or a collaborative mode, almost Diablo-like in its style for League of Legends. I love all of those characters so much, except for the last like dozen, but only because I don't know them. I like that gameplay so much, but I don't want 6 people to be mean at me.
So in both cases, it's very much a, hey, we're old. We'd like to hang out with your Blorbos, but you gotta slow it down. We're not.
Doesn't even have to be slow. Just what? Why does my enjoyment experience? It'd be like if I picked up Pokemon and like half the time some guy just showed up and was like, "You suck at Pokemon.
You should kill yourself."
Yeah, kill yourself for Pokemon reasons." And then say a bunch of Twitch slang I've never heard at me, and I'm like, you might as well be speaking Mandarin, man.
Unk is chopped. He's washed.
That's how I feel. I don't, I think
he's vegetables for a salad at this point.
The only gaming hot take I used to have was it would be really cool if there was an RPG style game that when you got to the battles, it was a fighting game. And they've done that a couple of times. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So yeah, my hot take, they got explored. Wait, what are we doing on time here, my guy? Let's do one more. Let's do one from Johnny the Jet. What video game storyline do you think could be adapted into a year-long wrestling angle?
That's a wrestling angle rather than TV show is very interesting. It
may be, this is wild, but it might be because I've stolen this from a video game podcast by wrestlers.
Well, yes, of course, but it's a different answer. It's a different question.
Sure.
Because wrestling angles, not all stories are viable as wrestling angles.
No.
You killed my dad. That's not good as a wrestling angle. That guy you call the cops.
You retired my dad.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, and I can see MJF conniving someone into a, I'll give you the title if you retire forever match. And it's like an older guy, and he doesn't want to go out yet, but he needs that title shot, like Jeff Jarrett or like
and
Dustin.
then like the junior shows up
and he
cheats.
He cheats to get the match, and then the junior's like, I will eviscerate you.
But do you have an actual answer? Because I'm not sure I do.
From a video game. Yeah, and I did it in real life, and you know what? I didn't even notice until this moment that I did this.
Oh, interesting.
I did it in eFed. You are gonna laugh because I did not realize what I had done.
I'm about to laugh, you guys.
It wasn't even that long ago. One of my favorite parts about Kefka from Final Fantasy VI is that he wins. He wins and he ruins the world, and then the heroes have to defeat him after that and recover everything in the aftermath. The NWO never properly won. They were a big influence, but it was always like, shut up, guys, it's still WCW. Go full takeover. Have the bad guy stable and have them be compelling, not like Mox's goons.
I was about to say.
No, but have the bad guy stable. Some, just cocksure guys who are just assholes, likable assholes, but still assholes, that manage to wrangle control. That you're going into that pay-per-view going, okay, here we are, we've been dealing with the storyline for 4 months. Now the new big stable is like, we're going to win all these matches. Your CEO hood's on the line.
And they just win.
And they win. And then the next week you show up and it's no longer AEW Dynamite. It's the Max Blasters Blastathon or whatever. I don't know. And then we go with that for a while until they claw back. The heroes take them out. These guys are actually in power and have a reason to be in power over proceedings and act like it. And then the heroes get it back and everything goes back to business as usual. And then that stable is gone.
See, that's the part. Because there's been a lot of times where the bad guy stable has taken over. The Authority was in charge.
Yeah, but the Authority was already in charge.
Well,
it was more like management decided to make a wrestling stable.
But like, there's a bad guy GM is not anything new. Beating the bad guy GM and then he actually fucks off, that's new.
And again, that's the other problem, the NWO storyline. I think they've gotten the closest out of anyone. I think it, especially because kayfabe was still real back then.
Also, they took over a whole pay-per-view. Like, they literally...
Several pay-per-views, yeah. But it was more like a we're existing in equilibrium sort of thing. I think go all the way. And I did do that. I did do that in an E-Fed. I was running the Fed. It wasn't like that. The bad guy won something and took over and fired all the staff who wouldn't wear his special face paint and it just acted like a dill hole. And then the faces beat him up and made him leave. And it was fun. Well, I didn't execute in the best way as that I'd hope, but hey, that's E-Fedding. It's collaborative storytelling. Did my yapping bring anything to mind for you?
I think you could probably do some more personal stories, even if they have big pomp and circumstance around them, pretty well as a wrestler. Yeah, like as an example, you could do the story of Hades in a wrestling fed pretty easily.
Sure, yeah.
A guy who just really wants to wants to leave the fed, but he's stuck because his boss is the CEO, his dad is the boss or whatever, and he won't let him out of his contract. So he keeps challenging bigger, more important wrestlers to get out and then losing, and then his dogged determination to eventually get out, and then he comes back once he's, you get the ending of Hades there. I think you could do that. You could do the story of God of War, the original ones, not the remakes. A guy is betrayed by the bad guy, by the Vince McMahon equivalent, and just proceeds to take out all his cronies and him, and then takes over.
Yeah, I think really a lot of them. You even Mega Man 1, you could have a guy who has a stable and he either convinces or brainwashes a bunch of people to join him. And one lone soul has to fight out against this evil.
And defeat each of them in turn. And then when he defeats them, they leave the stable. Darby. And then he does take them out one by one until only the last guy remains, and then he defeats him too.
Also, if you really want to go the Mega Man route, I've always wanted to do this. I could never get it off the ground. You start with a guy who's like a jobber tier. He's like the last stand kind of guy. And then when he beats the first guy, he takes his finisher and he uses it to beat the next guy. And he takes his finisher and he uses it to beat the next guy. And then the boss of the stable like sees who's left and goes, that move hurts a lot. I don't want that to be, no. It would be fun. You could do some fun stuff with it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of options there. Anything you have to close the show with? Do you have like a big, like a catchphrase or a deep insight?
Nah.